It's the Game Out Loud podcast coming to you with Rob, Jordan, and Dylan, and sometimes Colin too. It's everything about games you want to know. Thanks for listening to the show. It's the Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I just wanted to let you know that the podcast you're about to watch kind of got cut off at the beginning due to new technology and user error. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's probably my fault. But so this week we don't have an intro, really. It starts in the middle of Kevin Kirk giving his intro. But next week we'll get it ready for you guys, and we'll have it 100% A-OK. So enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Flirtatious, yeah. Could go with like bodacious, flirtatious. I don't know.
Mathematical.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk about all things video games, so I figured we would probably jump into those said video games. And Mr. Kirk, as you are the new man on the street, we will acquiesce to you. What have you been playing this week, man?
This week just been a lot of Street Fighter. It's definitely the newest game out on my mind right now. Had a bit of a rocky start, but as a whole, game is very accessible to new players. A lot of the things that made the old Street Fighters very, very hard to get into, frame links, FADC, stuff like that, stuff you probably have no idea what I'm even saying. But yeah, they took a lot of that out to make it new player friendly, and it's definitely going to be a game that's going to be around for quite a while.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm more into Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur. Those are my two fighting games. I've never been really big on Street Fighter. I have fun playing it, you know, if people are playing it. But I gotta say, it does feel much more. Well, we were making a joke about this the other day. It feels much more free flow now than it did previously. And you made the joke that I was asking for more free flow, and you're like, dude, this is free throw.
Yeah, basically. To get it into a little bit of the frame data, Street Fighter's been always like heavy about block stun and frame links, which are terms that don't really come up a lot in casual games. But Street Fighter had one frame links, which are things that, you know, as soon as you do an attack, you have one frame in order to input the next one, or you drop your combo, which for a lot of people, stuff like that, you're not really trying to do that. You're just trying to have fun, do some combos, flashy stuff. With Street Fighter V, they increased that. I mean, the high or the tightest frame link in this one is 3 frames. And that's only certain characters have. A lot of it is up to 5-6 frames. So stuff like that feels very, very free flow. You have a lot of input time on your inputs, and it really makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun for people who before were not really into Street Fighter because of that high learning curve, to really have some fun with the game, be able to do some high level combos without having to put years and years into it. So it definitely helps new people get used to the game and get excited about Street Fighter now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most fun I've had with the Street Fighter in years. In fact, Rob, you might enjoy it a little more than you did your last encounter with Street Fighter.
Maybe, because, yeah, my experience with fighting games is I always have to bang my head against the wall for so long before I get even, like, vaguely competent with them that I just give up, you know.
I'm going glasses off.
I mean, part of that is just sucking at video games, but part of it, too, is, you know, these things are tough. They're meant to steal your quarters, is what that design dates back to. So.
Yeah, most of it. Well, actually, fun fact about this one, this is the first Street Fighter to not have an arcade release. This is strictly console-based, console and PC. But yeah, there is no more quarter stealing for Street Fighter, so we'll definitely
now they steal it with DLC, I
imagine. All of the DLC for as far as character and balance changes go for Street Fighter V is actually free. They went the free-to-play freemium model for this one. You can choose to pay for it, or you can grind out the time, play online, do challenges. You require fight money. You can use that to buy every character that comes out. So we'll see how it goes down the line. We'll see if it's another one of, I hate to quote EA on this, but they do it the best, I think. But a bit of a time sink with getting into it. Not a lot of reward into it before you have to just pay all of your money to get everything.
Right.
Oh, hopefully it doesn't go that route. I mean, there's an interesting idea of having the DLC stuff, but not making it you have to purchase it, which is great. Like they're doing that with Rainbow Six Siege too, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a little different though, because Rainbow Six Siege, you get all the DLC. It just they're releasing it slowly. You don't grind through and unlock it. It's just it comes out every couple months.
Yeah, very true. Unlike Street Fighter.
Yeah.
How many have they said how many characters they're going to finish up with?
They haven't. They don't have a definitive finishing point for the game. As it stands, 16 on launch, 6 throughout the next year. With the first character pack, they say they're working on another character pack, adding more fan favorite characters. But as far as their plan goes, they have a 10-year plan for this game. Moving forward, that this is supposed to be the only Street Fighter out. You won't have to do a Super Street Fighter, Super Arcade, Super You Give Us Your Money edition. Like all of it is on this disc. Everything else is just going to be grind out for characters. Last Street Fighter game I think ended with 50 characters or 42, something like that.
Jeez.
So yeah, it was quite a roster, but that was over an almost 8-year period. So.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's 2008, I think, is when it came out.
Jeez, right when I moved over here. Yeah, it has been that long. Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I remember playing that game like the first week I moved to Oregon.
Yeah.
It has been that long.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but the game definitely came into its own, and it became just a completely different game every time they made an iteration. Not gonna say I agreed with having to pay another $40 every time it came out, but that's Capcom.
Thanks, Capcom.
Yeah.
What else has been getting you?
So let's see. I've been doing a lot of Battlefield Hardline. Actually, picked that up on the EA Access.
So at least you didn't pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I've been having a lot of fun with it, but I've only been doing the single player campaign, which. Interestingly enough, is for a Battlefield game, I'm at the end of it. I've probably killed maybe 70 people. Because this Battlefield, at least for the story mode, like it is, for all intents and purposes, it's a stealth action game.
That's weird.
Yeah, all of the enemies have vision cones. Your footsteps can be silenced. Crouching, sneaking, all that stuff. So it's definitely been an interesting take on the Battlefield franchise, especially being from a cop's perspective in there. It was a nice change of pace. But yeah, I've actually been having a lot of fun with that one. Just picked up Saints Row 4 on sale. It's Saints Row. What are you gonna do?
Saints Row 4. That's the one where you're in the Matrix-like situation, right?
Yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto with superpowers.
It is freaking fantastic.
Yeah, it's $750 right now. Like, for that kind of, you get your money's worth out of the first 3-4 hours. Like,
I literally played that game all night one night, and my wife comes downstairs, and when she went upstairs, I had started it, and I was playing character. When she came downstairs, I was playing a topless, thong-wearing Asian lady flying around the city.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, that game is fun. I love that game.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. And then always going through Borderlands and Diablo 3. Those are just timeless games for me.
Original Borderlands?
Back to them. Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel. Borderlands 1 actually goes backwards compatible on the Xbox One here. 2 weeks, actually. March 16th.
Interesting.
So, yeah, all 3 will be on Xbox officially. Or Xbox One officially.
How is the pre-sequel?
Pre-sequel actually is, I'd have to say that's my favorite Borderlands game. If for nothing else, characters and mechanics. With the jump from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2, the characters were, and by design, more of just extensions off of the first game's characters. So, you had your commando, you had your sniper, you had your siren. So it was just upgrades of the previous characters that you enjoyed. And that was perfectly fine. I loved those characters, still love the game. The DLC for it was fantastic. But for the pre-sequel, all of the characters felt either completely different or more of like an amalgamation of certain characters. So you have what's his name, Wilhelm. He uses drones, which is one of them is a very attack heavy drone, more like I'd say Roland or God, what was his name, Axton from Borderlands 2. Kind of like the commando, but they fly around. One heals you, one helps you in battle. You can direct them to fight certain targets, and you just had a lot more different ways to build him. You can build him to be a straight off Terminator, where you go down, it plays the Terminator, do doom doom do doom, and
That's
you just
awesome.
sit there and everything that gets close to you, you shoot them lightning at them. If you go completely down in there, your nuclear core goes off, you explode, taking out enemies. So it was definitely refreshing to play these different characters, and you can also play as Claptrap, so that's always nice.
Well, what does Claptrap have for his stuff?
Claptrap is he has the Claptrap EXE, which is a random program that activates random properties. So your gun could shoot infinitely with an infinite amount of bullets. You have no control over it. It just fires. Or you can, you lose your weapons, but your melee does like 1,000% more damage.
So it's basically the Borderlands equivalent of the infinite improbability drive.
Basically.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so it's a really fun game. I know that one is also on sale right now. I think it's like $20 for both the games and all of the DLC. If somebody doesn't have it, I highly recommend picking it up. You're going to get a really good deal for your money.
Hey, let her know that she can drop some stuff off of my house too, Rob.
And it's Chipotle, so I'm really looking
no,
forward
I'm
to
good.
the E. coli.
Yeah, I was say the blood stains in your underwear.
Yeah, just get that Chipotle away, dog.
Yeah, Chipotle.
That's right. Yeah.
I hate that Chipotle. I would rather go to Qdoba if I had a choice.
It's the same thing.
No, one's good and doesn't turn your body into a cesspool.
Hey, you know what? I got excited when I saw like all the news about Chipotle making people sick, because I was like, shorter lines at Chipotle.
Hey, you know what? Glass half full. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
You were the guy like in the '90s going to Jack in the Box, going, "Well, it sucks for you."
Sourdough Jack.
Samba no Jack. When I was a kid, and that's all I knew about was about Jack in the Box. I'd never been there. We only went to McDonald's and Burger King. So the only thing I knew about Jack in the Box is that when you ate there, you got sick. So my dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Jack in the Box." I'm like, "Dad, do you want to die?" I soon got over that when I learned that they had like the worst best tacos in the world.
Oh man, just meat paste tacos. Those things are just awful.
They're wrong.
Delicious.
Yeah, they were $2 for $1 when I was in high school. So at lunch, like every day, because I was broke high school kid, 2 tacos from Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still $2 for $1.
Are
if
they?
that says anything.
Yeah, and they're still probably
Worth
making a
every
shit ton
penny.
of profit.
They're probably still the same tacos from when you were in high school, just kind of sitting there.
They just have warehouses stacked full of like meat paste tacos.
They're like Twinkies, dude. They never go bad.
Yeah, and when they actually run out, they can never make any more because the meat paste came from something they made extinct.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the dodo birds went.
Yeah.
Yes, they went back in time and made.
Jack in the Box tacos.
Yes, dodo birds. Well, sweet man, thanks for filling us in on what you've been gaming on this week. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Oh wait, you can't see that I'm pointing at you. Oh wait, yeah, you can. Rob.
No, can't.
Yeah, we can't. I just see your face on Skype.
Oh yeah, because my video
Still
has to go here.
face. Your cat beard.
My cat beard face. See, now he sees the cat beard. Don't you see the cat beard, Kevin?
I see the cat beard now.
Okay, yeah, because when Kevin added me, I'm like, yeah, look for the cat bearding face. He's like, I just see one of you. It looks like you're stoned. I'm like, what?
I was also looking at like a quarter of an inch of a picture on my phone, so
Yeah.
that'd probably do it.
I think you have a face. I'm not sure, but I think you have a face. Oh, I want to apologize. I am having to use this week, guys. For some reason, my actual good mic is not working with Skype. I don't know. It's crazy sauce. You know what? I bet it is. I think I just figured it out. We may have to fix this after the break. But, Rob, you're up here. What have you been playing?
Yeah. So I'm not going to talk about most of the stuff I've been playing because we're going to get to RPGs in the topic, and I've been playing several of those. But I don't think I talked about Windlands on the show yet, did I? The VR game?
Windlands? Nothing I
I
recall.
played the shit out of some Windlands.
Oh,
It's,
Windlands. Okay.
Windlands, yes, Windlands, whatever, one word. You can get this on Steam right now. I don't know if it works. I think it works outside of VR, but it's primarily a VR game. I've been playing it on the Oculus DK2, and this is now my go-to demo when people haven't tried VR.
How much does it cost?
Let's see. I got Steam open right here. I can tell you. I want to say it's $20.
$20 for a demo. Steep.
No, it's not a demo. It's a full game.
Oh,
It's just what he
It's
uses
20
to.
bucks. Yeah, it's just what I use to show people, like, here's what VR can do. Because this is an Oculus game I play standing up in my living room. And basically, it's a first-person platformer / grappling hook game. So you can walk around, and I use, in this space behind me, I use like 6 square feet of this or 9 square feet right here, and 360 degrees standing around in this environment. And then you walk with the 360 controller and look around, and wherever you're looking, you can shoot 2 grappling hooks. So if you get good enough at it, you can peg the trees, which are what your grappling hooks connect to, and swing like Tarzan through this crazy world, thousands of feet in the air. And the sense of scale you get and the sense of place that you get, I mean, it is the only prolonged feeling of presence where your brain is completely tricked into thinking you're there that I've had in VR. Sometimes you'll get it for a moment here and there. In Windlands, I forget that I'm not there. And it's a little dangerous because if you get too out of whack and you're walking around and you like jerk your head up really fast, you can like smack your head on the wall. So you have to be careful. But it is really good and really cool. Like if you get on a big round treetop and you're underneath, so this is the curve of the tree. Sorry for people who are listening on audio, this is no good to you. But if you're like down here, you have to use your grappling hooks like pickaxes to climb up. And so you're leaning way back and looking over it, and the headset tracks you in 3D space perfectly. And I don't know, it's hard to explain. You just completely lose yourself in the environment. So that is really, really cool. And when VR launches, I'm sure that it'll be supported on the Vive at some point, supported on the Oculus right now, and get that if you're getting a VR headset. It is awesome.
Yeah, the Vive got a price, $799. I still say that's pretty much the same as an Oculus.
Yeah, it is. I mean, once the Oculus Touch comes out, the price will probably be within striking distance. So, like I said, I don't think you can go wrong with either headset. But the nice thing about the Vive is you get the motion controls now. You don't have to wait 3-6 months.
Well, and they have that throughput camera, right? Like, or pass-through camera?
Yeah, and I think that's a little overblown. I think if you have enough space that you can do room scale VR, you probably have enough space that you don't need that. But I could be wrong. It could be helpful, but that's not a selling point to me. But I think the bigger issue is slightly better 360-degree tracking. Although, like I said, there is full tracking on the Oculus. It just, if you move your headset a certain way that it can't track the LED dots anymore, then you will lose tracking, which is kind of annoying. But it's rare. So Lighthouse, there's no blind spots. Lighthouse can track you perfectly 360 degrees. That's on the Vive. And then it comes with the motion controls when it ships. So, yeah, I think 800 is pretty reasonable, especially now that the Oculus is 600.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I was expecting it to have a much higher price point. Now, the question here is, what do you think the PlayStation VR is going to cost? I think it has to be around $299 to $350. What do you think?
They'll sell a ton if they hit that, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be $500 to $600.
What about you, Kevin?
I'd actually say closer to $399, $350. I think Sony is really trying to move their peripherals and make a stance that they are the premier gaming system to go to. If they can hit that price point, I foresee a lot of people going to Sony for their VR experiences. So, yeah, I think it would. If they can hit that, that is what they're definitely going to try to do.
Well, is that going to have some sort of pack-in box that makes it stronger, you think? Because if you look, like, my computer is like way stronger than my PlayStation 4. Like, and it's just on the cusp of being able to do VR. So, like, they're going to have some sort of extra peripheral there, aren't they?
I mean, not that I know of. With the PlayStation, everything that comes with stock is all that it's really going to come with. I don't know what the specs on the PlayStation VR are. I haven't had a chance to take a look at those, but you know what? Let me pull those up right now. Actually,
I've heard rumors that it actually is going to do some computing lifting inside the headset. I don't think that's confirmed, but whether it's some type of interpolation to get the frame rate up, or who knows exactly what they want to do. But from what I've heard, there is some type of processing going on in the headset.
Gotcha. It seems like it would almost have to, just based on how the setup is done. What did you find there, Mr. Kirk?
Looking at some stuff, unconfirmed, but might be skipping PS4 entirely. That doesn't make any sense, but yeah, we'll do some digging on this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a couple news stories about PS4 about PlayStation VR skipping the PS4.
And just going to the next consoles that are already going to release in the next 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it doesn't have to look like a modern AAA game. When you're in VR, you don't notice like the little graphical things that you notice in a modern AAA game. Like Half-Life 2 looks about as good as Alien Isolation. So if they can get games that look as good as Half-Life 2, the PS4 can run those in stereo at 75 frames per second. I don't think that's a huge issue. So it's very possible that it'll just come as what it is and be plug and play. And yeah, if they can get it in that $299 to $399 range, that means all in with your PS4, $700 to get in VR. That's less than half of what it costs to get an Oculus and a computer, and a third of what it costs to get a Vive and a computer. So
yeah,
that would be like.
Well, and PlayStation already has a huge install base. Like,
yeah,
they've already blanketed the countries. So you just need to release the peripheral, and if they can do that, then I don't even care if they're the number one guy right now. If they can do that and they can get that thing out into the hands of consumers, that's what the idea is. This is going to be kind of a tepid area where we're going to have like 3D TVs, all that kind of stuff, all those gimmicky things. This needs to not be that, or else we're just going to have like what happened in the 90s, where you're going to have a few things and it's all going to go away. Same thing with 3D TVs, where no one really cares about 3D anymore. They don't really produce much in 3D, but it's 4K and all that. But if they can make the Oculus, if they can make the Vive, if they can make the PlayStation VR what the HD TV became, that's what needs to happen. And I think PlayStation has the best chance of doing that by getting that into the hands of as many people as they can.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, having that install base, I think what the biggest thing VR needs to focus on, in my opinion, right now, is multiplayer. It really needs to come down to, with VR, it looks fantastic. I've had a lot of fun with the limited time I've had with it. But it is relatively single experience with all of the things that I've played, and they've all been, demos, concepts, stuff like that. And those are fun. They're great. But when you have people over at your house, or, stuff like that, a fighting game, party game, stuff like that, the reason they do so well, and the reason gaming is doing so well right now, is because we can, at the push of a button, play with people across the country, stuff like that. And I think that is going to be something that, I don't want to say make or breaks the VR experience as a consumer console, but I definitely think it's going to be a factor.
Oh, big time. I think that's why too the Oculus is shipping with Eve Valkyrie, because it's really the first major multiplayer game for VR. And I actually played it, and I can talk about this now. They lifted their NDA like a month ago. It's cool, and I think the only thing it's missing to be like amazingly cool is I want to have my head tracking mapped to my player character in the cockpit, so that when I'm dogfighting a guy, I can look up through my window and make eye contact with him.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, definitely feeling a little bit of Elite Dangerous there.
Yeah, and that's funny, because Jordan and I were playing Elite Dangerous, and I was in the Oculus, and we were trying to see if there was tracking on the head. So I had him flying upside down, like right above my window, and looking up, and he's like, "Yeah, your guy's not moving." It's like, damn it.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
Yeah, that would be awesome, but I understand, constraints and all that.
That'd be harder than shit to do. Can you imagine?
No, there are demos that do it right now, so that's gonna hit, like little detail stuff like that now that this is finally getting out of this weird 3-year-long pre-developer cycle that it's been trapped in, that stuff's going to start hitting. So you're going to see a lot more cool stuff. And the Leap Motion hand tracking finally works. So I've got my Leap ordered. I bought it on sale for like $25.
Oh, did it?
Awesome.
I will buy one of those if it's on sale because I wanted one, but they said they were garbage when they first came out.
Yeah, they finally fixed it, and everyone's raving about it. So I got my little mount for it. This just hooks to the front of the DK2, and the Leap's going to show up in a week or two here, and I can finally. I'll probably put some videos up on our YouTube channel so people can see. But having hand presence in VR sounds really neat.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to get one because I thought it'd be kind of cool for manipulating things. You can just be like, oh, grab, move here, like interface like that. That came out like almost 3 years ago, but it was just trash.
Yeah,
you'll have to let me know how it is because if it's good, I'll buy it. Like I'll put that peripheral right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That was actually one of the first things I ever tested about VR was one of my buddies, his parents worked on VR, this one little VR game where the only thing you could do was pick up acorns and put them in a bucket. And
Yes.
that was my very first experience with it, just thinking like, this is awesome. Moving
Parents
my
worked
head
on
and like using my hands to actually pick things up. Like, this is amazing. And it was like, all right, this was fun
Yes.
for like, that
10
was my
minutes.
very
That's-
first experience with it. Just thinking,
Move
like,
on now. Like,
this
what
is
else can it
awesome.
do? Oh,
Moving my
parents
head
worked
and
on,
all
like,
right, using
well,
my
call
hands
me
to
in
actually
2-3
pick things
weeks.
up.
No,
Like,
you
this
can
is
also
amazing.
pick up peanuts.
And it was like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah,
this
it
was
gets
fun.
exciting.
Like, that
Oh,
was
see,
my
that's the
very first
expansion.
experience with
Oh,
it.
right.
Just thinking,
Move
like,
on.
about that a little later.
Sweet. I'm trying to check our feed and see how it's going since we've never done this before. I'm like, it's running. Sweet. But you know what I realized? We've been having this off conversation during rounds what we've been playing.
Yeah, and that's good. That was according to my plan because that's really all I've been playing besides the RPG stuff I'm going to get to after the break. So
Sweet.
all is well.
All right. Well, then I guess we are on to me. As you all know, I work constantly, and life sucks, so I don't have time to play any video games. But I did play game night at my job the other night with Mr. Kevin Kirk here, where he just, again, wiped the floor with me in Street Fighter.
Oh, well, you can, be sound mind knowing that it wasn't just you. It was everyone.
Yeah, we had a tournament, and Mr. Kirk here ended up taking home the cheese.
Oh, yeah. That was the game plan that night. Spent the entire night before streaming me playing Street Fighter V, and definitely given as good as I was getting, but practice. That was key to victory.
What is your stream, your Twitch naming, so people can look you up?
I'd be twitch.tv/Orin187, AUR0N187.
Oh, sweet. We'll have to have them come and say hi to you, because I've watched you, I think, once.
Yeah,
but
it's a relatively recent thing. Definitely a lot easier to do on consoles now with just press of a button, Twitch streaming. And yeah, come by, say hi, and I'll try to get some matches done with character picks. People come in and say what character they want me to play, and I'll try not to suck horribly.
Well, what we'll do is we'll have you. We'll joint venture this. We'll stream on mine and yours, and then you can see it from both sides. And wait, you can see it from both sides anyway. No, we'll workshop this. Never mind.
We'll get all the details ironed out.
Indeed, we'll pencil this in. My people will call your people,
There you
and
go.
it'll be great. Also, Rob, when you made his avatar, did you just darken Dylan?
Shush. No, it's totally different. Dylan has glasses and a blue shirt.
Oh, we'll see. There you go. The hell are you talking about?
Totally different guy.
Indeed. I actually tried to get on. Was it my Xbox I was having trouble with it? Is there a problem with the Xbox Live going on right now?
At the moment, there shouldn't be. I'm actually connected right now. Was this
Hasn't, though?
today or
No, this was like a week. This was like last week.
Yeah, last week for I want to say it was an 18-hour period. Xbox Live was down. It's been happening a couple times. We don't know if it's another DDoS attack or
I believe
whatever
it
it is. Yeah, it's fantastic. These people have entirely too much time on their hands.
Distributed denial of service.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm all for, just throwing these people in Gitmo, and I bet you they won't do it again. Like,
Yeah.
You want to do this again? Waterboard. You want to do this again?
I mean, it's like it is kind of by definition cyber terrorism. But,
True. You know what we should do? We shouldn't do the waterboarding. We should do, Rob, this is right up your alley. A Clockwork Orange of those motherfuckers.
Okay, that's
Every time they see a computer, they get violently ill.
Make them watch The Gods of Egypt if Rotten Tomatoes is to be trusted this week.
look, man. There's Guantanamo Bay, and then there's Cruel and Unusual. Let's not go.
Yeah, we don't want to commit war crimes here.
Wait, Gods of Egypt? That isn't doing well?
No,
Yeah, shocking, right?
Right?
It looked amazing.
I mean, it looked like a cool idea, but the second I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that when I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, did you have your bingo card ready with all your fantasy cliches?
I mean, come on, it can't be any better than worse than Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I heard
Oh
not
man,
good.
oh man, that's even as a date movie, that was painful.
I don't know what that is. Let's move on to Extra Points, the part of the podcast where we talk about the book, video game, or non-video game related stuff, media, otherwise input that you took this week. Hey, Kevin Kirk, what's Jupiter Rising?
Jupiter Ascending.
Same thing.
That's fine. It was a movie done
Synonyms.
by, I want to say, the Wachowskis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else did they do?
They did The Matrix.
I thought that was the Wachowski brothers.
The Wachowskis. That's Wachowski brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Used to be brothers, yeah.
yeah. So now I think you're more correct with the Wachowskis.
Yeah. There you go. It's, but yeah, they tried their hand at this sci-fi space opera, and I think between Mila Kunis and what was it, Channing Tatum? Oh man, that movie was a train wreck. Just bad special effects. Acting was, you already had to go into it expecting not great, but just to actually see it, like it was in a completely different league.
Just how not great it actually was.
It was like there's the point where something gets so bad that it's funny, and then when you get past that, it's just so bad that you're actually starting to feel yourself get violently ill at the just listening to some of the lines that were dropped. Like it was.
Oh, that's how I felt about the Jay and Silent Bob animated movie on Netflix.
Oh man, yeah, I haven't seen that one, but
don't.
Good to know.
Don't. Like, I have crass humor, and I love it. I love crass humor. That show is garbage.
You know what, though? The Wachowskis are so hit or miss that I hope they bounce back. Because the Wachowskis, when they're on, no one is better. So it's a bummer that this one sucks so bad, but like another Speed Racer or another The Matrix, just when they go full batshit, but stick the landing,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I mean,
Stand on their feet instead of their face.
yeah,
Yeah.
They definitely went full batshit with Jupiter Ascending, but I mean, yeah, they just hit the ground and crashed hard with that one. But yeah, I mean, Speed Racer, I went into that one with below zero expectations, and I could not have been more. I enjoyed that movie so much. It was everything that I enjoyed about old Speed Racer.
I went into Speed Racer with, like, again, with you with no expectations, but when, like, Speed Racer actually came out of the screen and started driving around in my theater, like, running over people, it was amazing. Like, the colors were everywhere, like, people's faces were melting. It was a great show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Oh, mushrooms were involved, by the way.
I was
when
going to say,
saw
I
that
think
one.
Jordan had some chemical help. in that one.
Did you see that movie? Of course you had chemical help. Like, you don't go to a movie that's that colorful on non-psychedelic things.
I think psychedelics would probably make you want to kill yourself watching something like that. I mean, it's already bad enough. That seems like an acid trip in and of itself. You don't pack acid on top of that.
Why not? It's inception acid. There's no great acception.
Yeah, that's
I think that's a completely different subject.
We don't talk about that at the Game Out Loud podcast.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, I never saw that one. When did that come out?
Jupiter Ascending, I'd say that was 2 years ago now.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think it was
it's
2013 or
relatively
2014.
recent. Yeah. But
Maybe it was 2015, actually. I feel like maybe I saw it on some of the biggest bombs of the year lists or something, but I could be wrong. It was pretty recently, though.
yeah, no, it was definitely within the last couple of years.
Well, do you want to use that as an out to not have another extra point, or would you like to put up your own extra point?
That was 2015 on that note. But yeah, other than movies, I mean, I do a lot of comics, read everything from Marvel, Image, Boom, and
Don't steal mine.
Don't Steal Yours.
The Star Wars related?
What's the publisher? We'll start there.
Mine's Marvel.
Okay, all right. I'll stay away from the Marvel. It hurts right here in the heart. But
no, it's very unlikely you're stealing mine.
Hey, Rob, I think I might have found a bona fide nerd.
I am a bona fide nerd. I am proud of it.
Good, we are too.
Yeah, but no, as far as comics go, I've really been enjoying. They recently did a reboot of surprise, Street Fighter comic. It's kind of meant to tie into the game. That one was really fun, but in order to kind of build some hype for that, there's also an ongoing G.I. Joe comic series that's been running for the last couple years now. IDW publishes that, but yeah, they just started a crossover between Street Fighter and G.I. Joe, so it's like every 80s kid fantasy you ever had, if your G.I. Joes fighting Street Fighter characters is now brought to life in comic book form.
All my action figure adventures are actually happening.
Yeah, so it's that one was just tons of fun. That and DC and IDW have been collaborating on one of probably my favorite comics of the year so far. It's been Batman and the Ninja Turtles in a crossover comic, and it has been phenomenal. So highly recommend checking it out. I think they're on issue 3 right now, and it's tons of fun.
I think they're going to have a lot of issues.
Yes.
Sweet. Well, thanks, man. That's some weird crossover there.
Yeah.
How about you, Rob? What have you been up to?
Yeah, mine's a little different. I have been reading Marvel's Kanan, the Last Padawan comics. This is... I guess it's a tie-in with Star Wars Rebels, the Disney, what's XD or whatever.
I think that's what they're calling it now.
Whatever the big kids Disney Channel is.
Yeah, XD.
But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good comic. The first initial run, because it was conceived of as a limited run, is actually really, really good. Yeah. And it was popular enough that they expanded it out for a few issues, and then it promptly stopped selling, and then they canceled it again. So I don't think this is the last issue, but I think if it's not, there's 1 or 2 more, and then they're done. But it's still totally readable, still definitely worth reading, especially if you're a big Star Wars nerd, because the way it ties in with A New Dawn, the novel that came out 6 months back, and then of course it ties into Rebels, and the story group over at Lucasfilm's taken all this canon stuff really seriously. So you're going to have characters that appear in this, appear in that, and there's continuity between all of it. It's kind of cool. It gives you some character development and some kind of Easter eggs between that's cross media. So I definitely recommend that. I don't think it's the strongest Marvel Star Wars line that's running right now. I think that's probably Darth Vader for ongoing.
Hands down.
And did you read Lando?
I only read the first issue of Lando. I don't know if they continued or if there was more. I think that was a 4-issue run.
I think it's 4 or 5, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, Lando. I read the first one. I've got an entire backlog of the Marvel Star Wars comics that I'm waiting to read. But yeah, that one was really good. That and Young Han Solo, definitely waiting for that one.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing one.
Yep.
Sweet. I saw they're doing coming out pretty soon is Poe Dameron from the movies getting his own comic line too.
Aren't they making like something reverse of that, where they're making Priest into a TV show?
Yes.
Yes, they are making
Preacher.
Priest into
Preacher. That's what it is.
Priest.
Yeah, he's the guy that like has the word of God, right? Like they have to listen to what he says.
Preacher? No, Preacher's like it's a really violent. Who wrote that? Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, but I thought his ability was that like when he invoked like
no,
when he.
I'm thinking of
Sandman.
I'm thinking of Sandman.
Yeah, I want to say that was Neil Gaiman though. Sorry, no, that's Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yeah, as far as I knew, I never really got far into the character, but he didn't have superpowers.
Yeah, I think it was from like the '90s, more edgy, adult-oriented comics, which is weird. I want to say Seth Rogen or someone's producing the TV show.
Yeah, it was Seth Rogen. They actually have a trailer for it out. Believe that one's AMC.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Looking for their next Breaking Bad.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the producers of that actually worked on was a PlayStation exclusive television show, Powers. And
Merging with the Genesis has given Jesse the Word of God, a power
Oh.
which focuses on the... Oh, damn it. It cuts off right at the part I was going to be like, yes, this, I'm right.
yes, you are correct though. It is Word of God sounds like nails scraping against your soul. That must sound terrible. But
Word of God, yeah. When his soul merged with the angel demon entity Genesis, her powers are focused into what Jesse Cutter called the Word of God. When he uses the Word of God, his eyes turn red, his voice changes. That sounds like nail scraping. Yep, there you get your soul. Although no one can resist his commands, his victims must be able to understand them. For example, animals would ignore his commands, and groups of attacking Frenchmen would be able to resist him.
well, yeah, I mean, of course. Why not?
Yeah.
I wish I had a superpower that could fend off groups of attacking Frenchmen.
Like I remember,
I think we all do.
My buddy had some of the comics, and one comic ended with the preacher telling him to go. Like it was from behind, and it was like so you saw the back of his head, and it says "Go fuck yourself." And then the next comic started with him in the front, and it's saying "Go fuck yourself," and you realize his eyes are red.
Oh, okay.
So the guy has to go and fuck himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's preacher. What I thought. I was thinking it was the same thing, but
Here you go, kids. Tell your parents.
Yeah.
Get you volume 1 on shelves now.
so Disney XD Star Wars. Are you liking it? Is it holding you in?
Kanan. It's a comic, not Disney XD. Ties in with Rebels.
Ties in with Rebels. There we go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much said my piece on it. It's pretty good. The first half of the run is excellent. Second half, totally readable. The only Star Wars comics that you can skip right now, if you want to get into them at all, in my opinion, are Leia and Chewbacca. And those are both fine, but inessential. The rest of them you should really be reading because they're all pretty damn good.
Okay. So I guess we're on to me, and I'm the only one who's going to take advantage of the visual form we're using now. Like neither one of you could have like produced a fucking book. God damn it! I'm reading this.
I can't see you.
Oh. Well, then
So good job, Jordan.
the joke's ruined because I held up a copy of things I wish I'd known before we got married. No, I'm reading a book called Uzumaki. It is a manga.
Ah, swirls. Yes.
Yes. Have you read this?
Yeah, it's by the same author who wrote Gyo. Very, very was it suspenseful thriller. Also, where the meme, what sound does a shark make when it kicks down a door? So, yeah, definitely worth a read.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but I'm showing some of the more disturbing swirly artwork. Basically, it's about a town that gets infected by the spiral. Is the way I think it's described, and you get these really cool effects with all these spirals and things happening and people turning into different things. Like here's a good example of the spiral consuming people. God, it's hard for me to.
Yeah, I pulled up the Twitch stream so I can see 30 seconds ago now. The art looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. And I got it because I like horror stuff. My wife was buying manga, so I was like, yeah, sure, let's try this. I'm trying to find a particularly horrible image.
That's nice.
To show our kind and gentle listeners, where the guy basically squirms himself into like an oblivion. It starts off as like this kind of monster a week thing, and then becomes more this story, right? Like it's more about the instead of the individual stories, it becomes more about what happens to this city, what is going on. Like it is weird. It becomes about like cannibalism and because like people turn into these snail people, and well, they're not human, and we need food, and yeah, no, don't eat them. Yeah, these are good ones. Good little images here. Bada bing. Oh, so creepy, so creepy. Yeah, I highly recommend this one. I've read it previously, but a particular podcast that I listen to is reading it for a book club thing, so I thought I'd go back and take a look at it. And it's a really good one. And let's see here, I paid $27.99 for a hardback version of it. So it's if you like grotesque manga, might be a good one for you. So at this point, we are done with extra points, and we're going to be moving on to our topic. I made a break splash if we need to take a break. So, would you guys like to take a quick break, grab some water, and then come back after 5 minutes? What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, then I'll go ahead and throw the splash up. We'll take a break, and we will talk about RPGs, JRPGs, WRPGs, PRPGs, LRPGs, all those RPGs that you can think of when we get back from our break here. So go ahead, and we'll see you here in a bit.
All right.
Rocket RPGs.
Rocket League.
RPGs, LRPGs, all those RPGs that you can think of here when we get back from our break here. The audio continues on afterwards.
Rocket League.
Wait, so we are still broadcasting, but I'm gonna pause it if I can. I can pause. And we're back. Oh wait. And we're back. Oh, right. I came back. You guys didn't. There we go. We're still working out some of the kinks on this this new system here, like not broadcasting audio while we're on break. We'll figure it out. But
get there eventually.
Now we speak of our topic, RPGs. Since Rob, I think you're doing a Year of the RPG, and Kevin, you are an RPG. I think this is the best topic that we could possibly have at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. So I guess I should talk a little bit about that. I want to play a whole bunch of RPGs this year, so I've kind of made it my thing. I'm going to play a whole bunch of modern ones, a whole bunch of really old ones, and a whole bunch of stuff in between. So I've been starting that off. I've been talking the last couple of weeks about Pillars of Eternity and Abaddon, the Black Fortress. Moving into, we'll see what's after that, but I have some ideas that we'll talk about. But I'm mostly going to be sticking to Western RPGs. I think for the sake of this discussion, we can talk about everything, though. JRPGs, Western RPGs, action RPGs, whatever. I think we should just talk about, what are the good games from any era.
Well, I know I can think of 3 that are come up from you. So Planescape.
That's a good
right?
one.
That's coming
Planescape
up.
Torment.
Baldur's Gate 2.
I love me some Baldur's Gate 2.
And no, Icewind Dale would be too easy. What's the 3rd one that'll come from you? What do you think, Kevin?
I know it. I'm gonna go with Neverwinter Nights 2.
That'd be a good one. That'd definitely be a good one.
How'd we do? How did we fare in the Robbie Peterson RPG quest? Sorry, the Robbie Peterson gaming quest. The RPG quest. Yes.
You mean for like what I'm gonna play or what I like?
Yeah. Are you gonna bring those up in conversation? Like, are those?
Sure. Those are all good ones. I haven't played much Neverwinter Nights 2. I've played maybe 20 minutes of it so far. So that's actually on my list to play. I have played the first game and both the expansions quite a bit, but second one never got around to.
Definitely worth playing.
I only played the first one as well. Does the second one still hold up as far as the DM mode and all that?
Oh, it holds up and then some. To this day, it's still one of the best RPGs available, like on the market. While being one of my favorite games, like that was the game that got me into the RPG, the Western RPG, the tabletop RPG. Once I found out like these are values that are used for things like D&D, it was just the next logical conclusion of like, okay, well, like now I need to be playing these other things. So it's definitely fantastic.
So Kevin, if Jordan and I have another buddy who wants to do this too, if we start playing some Neverwinter Nights too, you want to DM or get in on that?
I'm totally down.
Sweet. Yeah, I think we should do that. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm sure we can convince Dylan to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's playing the god-awful MMO version of it.
Oh, Neverwinter?
Oh. Yeah.
See, I try to stem away from god-awful for games like that. They may not be for me. It may be watered down, but you know what? They've got a player base.
Yeah, I got a guy that just loves it, and he's like, "You got to give it another chance, man. You got to try it again." I mean, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, no, like I don't like WoW, and this is like, this is
WoW
Forgotten
Light.
Realms trying to do WoW, but make it more accessible and not pay for it.
Yeah. Like, no, it was an enjoyable game for what it was. I can't say that I can't sit here and defend it. I put maybe 3-4 hours into it. I played it. I did not have fun, but when I was done playing it, I was done playing it. Like, I may come back to it eventually. I may not. It's sitting on my hard drive. But, it's sitting there if I do ever feel like going back to it. But I didn't hate the game.
Gotcha. I think the best RPG I've played in a long, long time was The Witcher 3. I thought that was a fantastic game.
That's top 5 games of all time for me.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm so pissed. I still haven't installed it again. I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but I got... did I tell you about this?
Yeah, dude, I know. And to this day, my heart weeps for you.
Well, for those of you, if you're just tuning in, I'd gotten done with the whole second island area, like cleared out all that, did the whole Bloody Baron quest line, did all that stuff there. Was going to the next island, and then when I rebuilt my computer, bad news bears. It was bad, but so I have yet to. Yeah, hard drive exploded. So I've yet to install that again. I really should, but it was such a good game, and I had so much invested in there. I had like 60 hours just right there.
Yeah, I think I clocked in at 135, 140 hours when I finally was done with the game, and that was pre-expansion passes coming out.
Have you played any of those, like Heart of Stone or anything like that?
I haven't played any of them. I'm waiting until Blood and Wine comes out before I go in and get sucked back into the game, because I fully intend to go through on a New Game Plus playthrough and just go through everything all over again with that one. But I mean, just between core gameplay, expansions, which I think $15 a pop for each of them. You get an extra 10 and 20 hours, which especially in today's gaming market, that's about what a $60 game will cost you on expansions, average, which I think it would get you about 10 hours of gameplay for each of them. So just to see how much time and effort 20 hours, as well as marketing on the back end. For the midnight launch for Witcher 3, they paid every GameStop that was having a midnight release the cost of having an extra employee there that night, just so they would be able to manage, the hype for it. But that came out of their pocket. That wasn't something that GameStop paid for. So it's just stuff like that. Just, the company has at every point gone above and beyond my expectations of what a gaming company can do. And at this point, whatever their next venture, which I think is Cyberpunk 20.
Yeah, oh God, I can't wait for that.
It's just, take my money. Like, I'm just done. Whatever.
Witcher 3 is the only game I ever bought a season pass for, and I do not regret it at all. Even though I haven't, I'm with you. I haven't played through the expansions yet, but I want to wait till everything's out, and I can. Yeah. Same thing. I want to go back through the game, make the opposite choices I made before, and see. Yeah, I want to see how flexible it really is, and how much stuff changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, how much fun did we have comparing? Oh, where did you do this? Did you do this? What'd you do to that tree creature? Like, what's going on here? How about this? I mean, it doesn't seem to have that many branching paths, but it's still like what you do. You feel like that's your. The fuck, cat? That's your. Sorry, my cat ran and jumped into his tube, but got stuck and lodged. So all I saw was like, funk, and like little feet just kicking out the other side until he like fell out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's dumb, but it felt like everything that you did there was intentful and insightful. Like the fact that you saved the two guys who were on opposite armies, right? And then later on you find them hanged. It's like, oh, geez, I did that. Would that have happened otherwise?
Yeah, it definitely had, while the choices may not have affected the overall gameplay experience, every choice, like, it tugged at heartstrings. It was, very impactful, and it made you feel like, you can't just arbitrarily make your choices in this game because there will be consequences for your actions. That, they may not be necessarily good or bad, but it is a choice that you have to move forward in your game with.
And they do such a good job of making you feel like, oh, this is going to be the good one.
Yeah.
And then
turns out like, oh, you just murdered orphans. That was
yeah. Or I got the guy killed who with the lady who got eaten alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that Bloody Baron is probably the most. Well, first of all, probably the best single quest I've ever done in a game, and also like the most just heart-wrenching. What the fuck? This is insane.
I hear that's about the height of that game, though. Like in all honesty, like that's like the apex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think from a storytelling point of view, they never really saw it as like the hero's journey or a quest for redemption. It was just, this is who you are in a world that exists, and like sometimes there are no right choices, like there are no ways out of it, like you just have to deal with these things. This is the way life is. It's not fair, but what are you going to do? You kill monsters, that's your job.
Yeah. And also, it's not like the other stuff after that isn't worth playing. There's still amazing, awesome quests that in another game would easily be the height of what you got to do. It just so happened that, like the Bloody Baron was particularly special, and it just happens to occur in the first act.
Yeah, and we've spent some time talking about the just the storytelling aspect of it, that the gameplay, like I don't want to downplay the gameplay at any point in time. Like it was some of the smartest action combat that I've done in recent years without feeling like I'm mashing buttons waiting for a counter hit to pop up. You had to be smart about it. Even low level enemies, didn't matter if you were 3, 4, 5 levels ahead of them. If you got overrun, that was it.
Yeah, I hate drowners.
Yeah. Oh man, drowners. Yeah, you definitely had to go into it with if you could only get one hit before you backed off, then you got that hit and backed off. You had to play it smart. Read the books, figure out things, weaknesses. Coat your sword in whatever poison these things were weak to. So it definitely took a smarter approach to the standard hack and slash, which I really appreciated.
And I think it would have gotten better press for the combat if it hadn't come out like 3 weeks after whatever it was, Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the only reason anyone complained about the combat in this game, because like when you have Michael Jordan. No matter what comes after that, it's going to seem like it's not as good.
Yeah, and I take those two games like more as apples and oranges. Like Bloodborne's combat was great for Bloodborne. That was the game it was made for. It's the same reason, I wouldn't want them to adopt that in Dark Souls or in The Witcher. Like that game had its own combat because that's what the combat the way it was because that's the way it was built in its entire system. Whereas with The Witcher, you were a monster hunter. That's what you did. You didn't just go in and beat things with your sword. You had to be smart about it, or these things would tear you apart. I still remember doing the Griffin fight, figuring out that I could knock him down with the arrows and then start going to town on him. It was like, okay, this is a pretty smart way to do this. Let me back off when he's going in for his dives and shoot him out of the sky. So
yeah, that was a good tutorial.
Yeah, it was. Then you got to carry the head.
Yes. Trophies. Another great part of The Witcher.
Another game, and if you guys have other games, feel free to jump in with them. But Witcher 3 is obviously going to be talked about a lot in any discussion about best RPGs. Baldur's Gate 2, I think, is the other one on that level.
Yeah, that game was fantastic.
and the most fully featured RPG probably of all time. You have a huge world, a huge cast of characters who all have their own stories and personalities that you can delve into, and enough of them that you can't even see them all in one playthrough. Dozens of classes and subclasses you can choose from. Super complex AD&D rules, big dungeons, dozens and dozens of quests, full multiplayer. You can play through the single player game as a dungeon crawler where you make all your own characters and just hack through if you want. I mean, it is the full package, and I don't think we've seen anything like it since.
Yeah, that game was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I mean, there's a reason that they keep re-releasing it, and it just keeps making money hand over fist. Like
I never beat that game ever.
Oh, see, don't tell me that. We may have to just go through it.
Have you beat it, Rob?
I have, yeah. The third act, I don't know, to me wasn't as good as the first two. I think the meat of that game's really when you're in, what's that capital city called? In why am I blanking on the name? But the city that you emerge out into from Irenicus's dungeon.
Yeah. It's such an old school play style too. That is so AD&D. Like story, like the way it works. Thaco. Oh, Thaco.
Yeah, but Thaco, I mean, just becomes second nature after a couple hours.
Oh yeah. Thaco's really not that hard. It's just not as good as D20.
I agree. But in general, the combat in that game is really, really good. And part of that's because you have such a big party, and part of it's because it's so frantic with the real time with pause. And also just because there's so many abilities and spells that you can choose from. It's crazy how much magic and other abilities are in that game. I mean, I think, what's the level cap, like 20 or something?
20, yeah. Right when you hit epic. And then they had, once you had thrown a ball, then you got epic levels, didn't you?
I think so, yeah. So you have all the spells from Baldur's Gate 1, plus double that as you go up in levels. So, yeah, it had plenty of stuff to do.
It was so good. I remember getting that for Christmas, and just that's all I wanted to do was play it, and I had to wait because
that's Katla, by the way.
What?
Athkatla was the city. I've been pulling up maps.
Katla.
Athkatla.
Athkatla. Athkatla. Katla. Where's the emphasis? Now, Kevin, I heard you the other day having a conversation with one of our coworkers about a particularly emberous sigil.
You're going to have to refresh my memory.
It was a burning coal necklace. No, it doesn't work. Embroidered burning coal. Fire emblem.
Okay. What are you getting? Long walk for a short drink of water. Yes, yeah. Fire emblem. Yeah, I've been playing the crap out of the new Fire Emblem games. Managed to pick up the collector's edition, which, if you can grab one, not saying it's easy, not saying that you should spend $300 trying to track one down. But if you manage to see one, definitely grab it up. Comes with all three of the games. There are 2 base games that are available on store shelves, and a third DLC game, which is a basically third storyline of this Fire Emblem campaign, in which either game follows your main character, which is either Avatar or Corrin, however you want to refer to him as, male, female. It is the created character of JRPG. But about 6 chapters in, you have to make a choice to either side with your adopted family or your blood, which they do a pretty good job of making a good point on either side for whether you should side with one or the other. I chose the initial Birthright campaign just because that was I felt canonically that was the first story to play through. But yeah, I plan to go through all 3 of the games. But yeah, it's just such a great game, such great tactical combat. Fire Emblem's always been very, very good at just having great strategy gameplay, which I think is why it hasn't changed in 20 years.
You have a 3DS, right, Rob?
I have a DS.
Oh.
And I only have one tactical RPG for that, and that is
Final Fantasy Tactics.
No, it's not Tactics. It's God, what the hell is that game called? I'm just blanking on stuff tonight. It's the time travel one that's not Chrono Trigger.
Time travel.
Radiant Historia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there was another game in that series, Radiant Dawn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it completely different game styles. That was an action RPG on the PS2. I just remember seeing the art style for Radiant Historia and some of the character designs and thinking it looked pretty similar. I'm not 100% that they're in the same universe. It might just be the same artist.
Actually, funny you mention it. So I Googled Radiant Dawn because I loved Radiant Historia.
Yeah.
It's a Fire Emblem game.
Oh.
Or is that a different game?
Okay, get off the fucking...
Yeah, I think I might be thinking of a different game. Radiant Dawn was one of the Fire Emblem, one of the 12 I think we're at now. Different Fire Emblem games. But yeah, definitely Radiant Historia has definitely been one of the ones that I wanted to pick up and check out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really, really good grid-based combat and great story. I'm assuming you're a Chrono Trigger fan.
If you can't like RPGs and not like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
there are people who don't like RPGs, and those are the people that just haven't played it yet. I mean, to this day, it's still 20 years later, one of the best examples of an RPG, hands down.
Can't see me pointing to myself.
well, if you
Jordan. Oh, go ahead.
if you want a twist on a similar type of game but a different approach to time travel, check out Radiant Historia because it's a really neat spin on that idea.
Yeah, and Jordan, there's no excuse for you not playing Chrono Trigger. I'm bringing you a copy at work.
Oh, I've played it. I played it on my computer, an emulated version.
Oh, well, see, that's you're not getting the full experience. But
what are you gonna bring? What am I gonna play it on?
Oh, it's just the DS copy. But,
Oh, does that work on a 3DS?
yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh, DS. Dumb.
Yeah. but
Maybe that will change it for me. Maybe if it's actually like on a handheld and it's kind of in its natural element instead of on my computer, maybe I'll like it more.
Yeah.
You can't have a soul and not like Chrono Trigger. I'm sorry. It's not possible.
Fact of life. But no, I mean, Chrono Trigger is definitely it did things back when
You're
it
hitting your
released.
mic there, buddy.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, it did things back when it released that you see a lot of RPGs coming back to, just recently, altering character paths, just major character. I don't want to say developments. I'm trying not to get into too spoilery into the game, but there's a lot of things that game did so well that can only be emulated. And I mean, it was the collaboration between the two biggest giants in RPG gaming at the time. And it just goes to show you what you could do if you just stopped the hate. You worked together. You had Enix, the publisher of Dragon Warrior at the time, and Square, which Final Fantasy Titan. And
to top it off, Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. All coming together on this project, and it could not have gone better. And take it for what you will, the sequel Chrono Cross, I still think it was a fantastic game. A lot of people disagree. But it's just, that is one of the RPGs that if you are at all interested in RPGs, you should definitely check out. You can get it for, I want to say, $20 on Amazon, new copy of it. DS, definitely worth grabbing.
And it's on every platform. You can get it on the PSN store. I don't know if it's on PS4 yet, but definitely on PS3.
Is it on the TI-82?
Sure, let's go with that.
Doom's on the TI-82.
You said it's not on the PS4?
It's not on the PS4 yet. They've been doing a lot of re-releases of games. They just did the Final Fantasy VII re-release on PS4. I think that's the 8th time they've done a re-release for Final Fantasy VII.
I picked that one up like the schmuck I am.
Yeah, so you know what? I always complain about it, but damn if I don't spend my money.
Yep.
Yeah, that I think they're going to start re-releasing a lot of the older Final Fantasies here not too long from now. If not onto the PlayStation Store, probably on the PlayStation Now, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
service that they better drop the price on.
Yeah, I mean it has really good value, but it is definitely a steep price of entry. They just announced a yearly subscription to it. I think the price tag on it was like $100 though.
Jesus.
And yeah,
Well, Colin got it. One of our old hosts, who he'll be on eventually to talk about it, but he paid the $100. He raves about it. He has really fast internet, but he's like, dude, I've played through 20 games since I bought it in the last 4 months.
yeah. I had a 3-month subscription to it, and I tried it out. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was very fun. Being able to jump on, Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and play some of those PS3 games that I missed out on, by getting rid of my PS3 a little too early. But I just think for that type of price tag, especially when there are things like EA Access, and just the standard PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus service, it's a little hard to get excited for a subscription-based service on your console when the subscription-based service for your console costs cheaper, costs less than that does. So
Yeah, like you should at least get like they should put the money you put towards it, towards PlayStation Plus, towards that. Like keep the price the same, fine. But if you want to pay an extra $50, then you get PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now for $100 a year. That I would do.
yeah, and that's a lot more reasonable than paying $50 a year for your PlayStation Plus and then another $100 for PlayStation Now service. Like at that price point, honestly, you're better off just picking up a PS3. You can get one cheap now, and then just start buying up those games that you missed.
Yeah. Between a PS3 and GOG.com on the PC, you could probably cover just about everything.
Yeah, pretty much
For less money.
cheap now. And
Shout
then
out
just
to
start buying up
GOG.com
those
for
games.
its
Crazy
Yeah.
deals.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Cheap Shark, GOG, Steam. Those are all 3 good places that you should know about if you're on the internet. I had a guy come into my work the other day and try to be like, oh, my son wants to do gaming, and I was telling him, oh, you should do Steam. And it took me like 20 minutes to get this guy to finally understand what Steam was and how it could save him money, and how Cheap Shark can save him money. Because he's like, my kid just keep spending money on games, just keeps buying money, just keeps spending my money on games. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, you could say no.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Be a parent. Come on.
Or if you're not going to do that,
Not crazy.
then you can go and do computer gaming, which has a high upfront cost, but then like initially over time you'll make your money back. Like, yeah. By the way, did I tell you I canceled my Far Cry Primal pre-order?
Oh, that's
No, I was
unfortunate.
wondering.
Yeah, fuck that game. Like, not with the reviews it's getting out of everything. I'm not dropping that money.
Reviews.
Huh?
It got really good reviews.
Oh, it didn't.
Every
No.
review I read was like 8+.
Oh, yeah. No,
I was seeing 7 to like 8.5s.
it's more what they were saying was my problem. It's regrettable. It's more like it seems like it was originally a get off me, cat. It seems like it was like a Blood Dragon thing that they then expanded like to be a full game by filling it with like collectibles and stuff like they normally do, but I just wasn't paying that much for literally just the Far Cry thing. Like maybe I'll wait one, see if they decide to change it up a little bit.
I never can beat Far Cry 4.
Yeah,
Never
I
beat
mean,
it? Man, neither.
yeah. If the trend continues, the last couple of games that have gotten not great reviews, but still pretty decent, they usually go on sale.
Yeah.
Around $40, $38.
I returned it at
within a month.
$35.
Oh, you should have just sold it to me, dude.
It was a digital copy.
Yeah, 35
Ah.
seems like ideal for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I could think of other things I wanted to spend $35 on. Oh, hey, by the way, I woke up the other day and I had spent $60 on a keychain, so we're gonna see what that looks like when it gets here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's why you shouldn't drink.
Yeah. Someone should invent a breathalyzer for Amazon Prime.
Right?
Okay, doc.
Yeah, that's my buddy and I will be playing games consistently, or I'll be playing a game, just talking to him in a party, and anytime he's smashed, we'll just be having a good old time and be talking about, yeah, man, this game's pretty dope, and then he'll start downloading it. It's like, Dude, that was like $60. Like,
Oh, you know Dylan. Our,
Just bought it.
our other host. Yeah, in fact, our one of the catchphrases on the podcast here is "I just bought it." That was from like years ago, but Dylan's notorious for that. We'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden it'll show up in our inboxes.
Like, oh, thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, I was kidding though. I didn't want Pony Madness.
Yes, you did.
Hatoful boyfriend.
he has that. He likes it.
That's to each his own.
One other series, and this is going to bore all of our listeners to tears, so I'm not going to cover it that much as I do it, but I want to talk about it today. I'm going to go back and play through all the Ultimas, or at least the first
Oh
7.
God,
Whoa.
that would bore me, bro.
This is some grognard fucking dedication going on here. But I did play some of Ultima 1, and, I pulled up the controls on an iPad, because it's all keyboard based. And once you do that, it's really not that bad. It's you adjust to the graphics pretty quickly, and I was just kind of having fun with it, actually. I'm kind of looking forward to playing through all those. But the only one I've ever really played and put tons and tons of time into is 7. And 7 is a phenomenal game.
Yeah, 7's great. Like, there's something about 7, Final Fantasy 7, that is so much better than Ultima 7.
Segue into that.
We played Ultima 7 on the retro thing, didn't we? You forced that down my throat?
Yeah, you pretended to play it and then lied about it for an hour. I remember that.
Yeah, it was great. I put time into that game. I can't do it, man. I can't go back that far.
Yeah, you're a wuss.
Now you give me Divinity Original Sin.
Oh, fantastic.
That's that same style, but looks better. I'm all about it, son.
Yeah,
that game was great.
That's going to be worth revisiting, because I haven't played the director's cut yet.
Yeah, neither have I. And it comes with it if you own it, correct?
Yes, it is a free download if you own it.
Yeah, that's the way to do. That's the way to do. And there's so many RPGs. Like, RPGs have wormed their way into almost anything if you think about it. Like, shooters have RPG elements where you get better guns, you get better weapons, you level up. Like, if you think about the actual, like, terminology, isn't technically anything a role-playing game? You're playing the role of somebody.
Basically. There's an argument made that Zelda has been a role-playing game since its inception, which, I mean, at its core, you can't really dispute. There's no, like, stat sheets or anything like that you can mess around with, but to be fair, like, yeah, Zelda Monster Hunter is another argument, but everything has RPG elements nowadays. But I just look at it as it's good to see something that I enjoy, even in a watered-down version, like getting to so many different people to get some of that RPG feeling, that hopefully that'll segue them into, something like, Baldur's Gate, Divinity Original Sin, Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale, there's one we didn't bring up. Frozen North.
Yep.
Yeah, Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale is pretty rudimentary story, though. I mean, that's a dungeon crawl.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, like, you want to talk about gateway drugs for RPGs.
Marijuana.
BioWare. Those guys have been carrying that torch. I mean, Baldur's Gate 2, yeah, that was kind of their last hardcore one. But since then, a bunch of, like, Dragon Age Origins, awesome game.
Oh, yeah.
Great game. And perfect way, if you want to learn about Baldur's Gate and all those games, like, that is a great entry point.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have that KOTOR series, which I, in my heart of hearts, sincerely hope that they are, in fact, working on the third one now after, I don't want to call Battlefront a flop, but not to expectation.
Not great.
We'll go with.
Not happy.
Yeah, maybe sales expectations, but definitely not customer satisfaction expectations.
No way.
Oh, it didn't hit either of those.
No.
Word
got out there quick enough.
Yeah, I think a lot of what they thought they were going to make it up on the back end was their season passes and map packs and stuff like that. And I mean, it's hard enough to get people sold on like a $30 season pass, but what was theirs? Like
60 or 50?
It was like 60, $70. They had a $150 version of that game. Like, that's a tough sell.
And that stuff that they're talking about being in there should have been in the first fucking game. It shouldn't be DLC.
Yeah.
And that's the bullshit.
I can't say that that's what got pulled, but as a gamer, you can see these things kind of like, okay, this feels kind of basic. Like, this feels like there should be something here and there isn't. So I can't say with certainty that they pulled stuff, but I'm not going to tell people that, no, it definitely wasn't in the game originally. But yeah, if any good can come out of this, it's that because it didn't do as well as they expected, hopefully now they will be working on KOTOR 3 and 1313. Just getting back into these games, that was the reason people wanted, Star Wars to actually keep making games.
Well, Amy Hennig, who was the creative director on the first three Uncharted games, has a Star Wars game, a secret Star Wars game over at EA. So I don't think it's going to be called 1313, but I'm thinking it's going to be in that wheelhouse.
12.
So I'm pretty excited for that. Holy hell, dog. My dog just backflopped trying to jump up on my lap.
1313, it becomes 2626. Takes twice as long to come out.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it'll definitely be a breath of fresh air to be able to get into the D20 Star Wars again. That was even for the problems it had, I still love KOTOR 2. Especially if you can pick it up on PC now, grab the Sith Restored edition and get all of the content that was cut from the game.
I have heard really depressing rumors. These are not confirmed, just rumors, that Obsidian was working on a Star Wars RPG when Lucasfilm sold to Disney and Disney pulled the plug.
Oh. It hurts us right here. Here.
Ugh.
Right in the hard hole.
That's why whatever project they were working on, some huge project got canceled, and that's why we got Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity was the we don't want to go out of business game.
Yeah, so. And you know what? If for nothing else, I'm glad that they were able to get Pillars of Eternity out because, Obsidian, while they make fantastic games, every Obsidian game that I've come across, like, it's always plagued with early issues, just little bugs here and there, and I think that's kind of followed them as a company. But with Pillars of Eternity, it just showed like they can make a quality game, and as long as they're you can see that there weren't any time constraints, there weren't any outside influences that made them have to rush to get this game done. Like, they had ample time, they had ample resources, and they made one of the best RPGs to come out in recent years.
Absolutely. And they're still updating it. I think when the White March Part 2 came out, they released another balancing update and bug fix to the core game. So very super solid game.
Sweet. Well, gents, given the fact that we've been at this for about 3 hours, I think we're going to call that a night. Mr. Kirk, thank you for coming on and joining us.
Oh, not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Expected that you're here.
I know. I performed my basic duties.
Now, Dylan, on the other hand, that kid, we're going to have to give him the paddle for not showing up today.
That's a paddling.
Yeah. So you, listener, if you'd like to give Dylan the verbal paddle, you can email us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to get to him more directly, you can go to @GameOutLoudcast on Twitter. If you want to listen to all the previous paddlings we have of Dylan, then you can go to GameOutLoudPodcast.com or iTunes or Stitcher or any of those great areas. And if you are on iTunes, please remember to rate, subscribe, and review. That way it kind of gets us out throughout the rest of the iTunes verse and the like. So I think at this point we're going to sign off, and we will see you guys next week. But remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do, and